Hi, what's up everyone? Welcome to the video. I am GCROCK and today we're going to be covering the perfect descent commendation on the Division 2. This commendation has to be the most difficult in the game. I've been working weeks and weeks to try and find the best strategy for people that may not be as competent on this game mode as others, because I think if you're experienced and you run a lot together, this can be a little bit easier, obviously. But if you are trying to get this done, you're not really that familiar with this game mode, or how do you do it? Before we go any further, I just want to give a huge shout out to Ubisoft. We are a Ubisoft partner and they have gifted me a Ubisoft creator code, which is awesome. Thank you so much. If you guys want to support me and the channel further and you purchase things from the Ubisoft Connect store, you can use code GCROCK at checkout. Just enter it in the coupon creator code section and you'll be supporting me and the channel. Thank you so much. Now, I am a little bit of a Descent noob, I want to say. I've picked it back up recently on PC. I've got a much higher loop, by the way, on PlayStation. I've gone to the 20s, but still a noob, of course. However, I've not played a lot with the talent pools. This is new since I started playing again a few weeks ago, but it will help if you use a better talent pool than what I did. We use Sloth, which I believe is one of the more difficult ones to use. There's some real good talent pools that are going to make this a little bit more easier, so to say. But it's good to show you how we did it in this video, because we did use Sloth and we used these talents that are available to us here and some strategies to get it done, which I'm going to explain to you, which does go to show, I guess it doesn't matter what talent pool you have. You can still do this with a bit of work and dedication, but the talent pool will help. So for Sloth, you can see here we had these exotics at our disposal. We had these offensive talents. If I'm being honest with you, through this run, I am going to show you at the end the builds that we finished on. They weren't great at all, but we were all kind of aiming for either incessant chatter, liberty or death. I think that's pretty much it. And on the offensive talents here, there's companion, there's composure, there's gunslinger. They would have helped vigilance, maybe precise. We definitely took advantage of Overwatch. Defensive wise, didn't really matter. And utility wise, didn't really matter. On better talent pools, you can have trauma as a utility talent. I highly recommend that. If you have a pool with trauma, that is going to make it easier when it comes to the Nemesis part. And also Eyeless. Eyeless gives you extra damage to blinded targets. So Trauma and Eyeless are a great combination. And Unhinged on the offensive. If you can get Unhinged, that's so much extra damage, which you can then mix with other damage talents. And that will help as well. You basically want to hit as hard as you can. And now I'm going to give you some other tips on how to get this done. But first, let's have a look at the patch. If you go to Commendations and Teamwork, this is where you're going to find it. And the patch looks pretty sick. For those that don't know, I probably should have already said this by now, but to get the perfect descent, what it requires is, it requires you to defeat the Nemesis with a full squad without any teammates going down during the run. So you can't even go down to your knees. Okay? All 4 of you have to stay up. You've got to get to the Nemesis from the beginning of your descent run and defeat all 4 Nemesis. Once you've done that, you'll get this patch. And as I said, it does look pretty cool. Now, I will explain the cheese now before we go any further, because I know some people will want to know this. And you know I don't like cheese, but I know in the comments people are just going to be saying this and they'll be telling you to do this. So I might as well get it in now. The cheese for this patch is you can go in and start a game of descent as 4 of you, and then 3 of you can back out. As long as you've started the game, if 3 back out and they leave you alone, you can then go and do this solo to get it rewarded to you, which is a lot easier. I have to admit, to solo descent from start to the Nemesis and beat them without going down is very, very easy. So if you want to do the cheese, by all means, go for it. But if you want the true challenge, then I really advise to do the true challenge, just keeping all 4 of you in and getting this done. I'm going to give you some tips. The Nemesis strategy at the end is what you want to think about. That's going to be the hardest part. Now, obviously, practicing the mode with your friends is going to be important. Get 4 friends together, play the mode, get used to it, and just first learn how not to go down. If you get lucky and do it as we do, you're going to have 4 loops that you need to survive. Every loop is going to have 4 rooms and an arena. So that's kind of 5 rooms in total per loop, which means you can get to Nemesis in about 20 rooms if you pick easy rooms all the way. And that's what I advise you to do. Some people like to pick harder rooms to get more cash. Also, you can get a little bit more prep for the Nemesis if you pick harder rooms, because you can get to the Nemesis after 5 loops, which would be 25 rooms. But we thought the quicker the better. You get single wave rooms all the way up to loop 4 when you are playing in a squad. If you're solo, that's loop 5. When you're in a squad, it's loop 4. Once you get to loop 4, you're going to have double wave rooms. And it's mad how much more difficult that makes it. So I advise doing the less of them as possible. Just go in the easiest room all the way. And 9 out of 10 times, if you do just go for the easiest room all the way, you'll be facing the Nemesis at the end of loop 4. Very briefly, for anyone that doesn't know what descent is, as you're going through the loops, you are building up a Nemesis heat gauge, and the easier rooms give you more percentage towards the gauge. Once you get the gauge to 100%, you face the Nemesis. You can see I just got 7% there for this easy room. If you go harder rooms, you're getting less of a percentage towards the Nemesis gauge, which means it's going to take you longer. I think the longest possible way to get to Nemesis is to go about 8 loops, I want to say. It's actually another commendation for doing that. So my advice for the flawless descent is to go easy all the way, but have a look at the talent pool. Try and make yourself as strong as possible for the most part, which means very good red talents, like I've already mentioned: composure, vigilance, unhinged when it's available. Precise can be good to shoot them in the head. Just make yourself strong. At the end of every loop, you also get 1 extra talent to choose from, be it extra weapon damage, armor, or skill tier. Go for devastating every single time, again, just to give yourself more damage. If you do want any survivability at all, then preservation or entrench as a blue talent is okay. And the only real yellow or utility talents I'll be looking for is trauma, eyeless, or if you do have unhinged, you will want to counter the unhinged talent with some optimized, as you can see me picking here, or braced. So now I've kind of got that explanation out of the way. There is one exception, and it's something that we added on this run where we got it done. We took one person out from everything I just explained and had them focus on Riot Foam. So as you're going through your loops, if you don't know descent, you're always going to get an option to pick a weapon or pick a skill. You get to pick both when you first start it. And I will go over the skills that you want to pick in a few moments, but your skill choice is very, very important. Your weapon choice can be also, but for the most part, just go for weapons that you like using. But for your skills, you want to be very selective on these, because whatever skills you pick, when you do get to the Nemesis, they're going to have skills based on what skills you've got, and you can make things very difficult for yourself with your skill selection. However, we did have one person go for the Riot Foam. If we had Riot Foam, we would make sure that person, instead of making themselves as strong as they could, what they would do would work into that Riot Foam. So they'd go for anything with status effect. At the end of every loop, instead of going devastating for weapon damage, they'd go skill tier. And the idea would be that you'd be the crowd control when it came to the Nemesis encounter, and you'd want that Riot Foam. We actually went Riot Foam and Decoy, but the problem with Riot Foam and Decoy is this: Decoy will give a Nemesis a random skill. So it's not necessarily needed, I don't think. Just the Riot Foam will do. But with Riot Foam, it will give the Nemesis a Riot Foam. But people have told me they could potentially have another chem as well. What this means is that instead of having the Riot Foam, they could have a Reinforcer, or they could have the Oxidizer. You don't want the Oxidizer chem because you're going to die. If Nemesis has an Oxidizer, you're never doing this flawless. Forget it. And if they've got a Reinforcer, they're going to heal themselves, which is very annoying. They actually heal themselves in this clip I'm showing you today. You'll see at the end. But Riot Foam does make it easier. You just got to take the risk on that. So make sure one person has the Riot Foam and one person is trying to get this stacked up as much as they can with status effects and skill tier. One other thing, I'd actually go as far as saying, when you start your flawless attempt, keep on restarting until someone gets the Riot Foam. Don't start without it. We didn't do this because we just wanted to let RNG play its part, but it does save a lot of hassle if you just keep on backing out and going back in until one of your teammates get the Riot Foam, so you can just allocate them that role from the get-go and you're not wasting any talents as you go. So the only other thing to discuss before the Nemesis strategy is skills, as I mentioned. The skills you choose are gonna affect how easy this encounter is gonna be. You can see here that I've got a Riot Foam. I'm currently debating putting it on. We have allocated this to somebody else though, so they're gonna try and get this. But what I'm gonna tell you now is some skills you can use to make the encounter easier. And it's very simple. It's any sticky or any firefly. They are the two skills that you won't need to worry about with this strategy I'm about to show you. Because if the Nemesis has any sticky bomb, or if they have any firefly, it is going to be so easy to defend against, you won't need to worry about them. So that's what you want your team to try and get. Obviously, one person's going to try and get the foam, because that's for the crowd control, as we've just discussed. And then if they want to, they can have a secondary crowd control skill if you want to risk it. To be honest with you, the perfect combination for that would be the foam and the blinder, if they could get it. But as I said, on this run, we went foam and decoy. But everyone else, try and get a sticky bomb and a firefly. It really doesn't matter what sticky or what firefly. Again, preferably blinder. With the sticky, preferably EMP. But it doesn't matter. These are going to be so easy to defend against, and I will explain to you in a few moments. As long as you can do that, and you can practice this mode enough to get to the Nemesis flawless, this Nemesis strategy is probably going to take you a few tries, don't get me wrong, and it's going to require a lot of patience, but you will get the flawless descent done. So you can see we've got to the Nemesis here at loop 4. We went easy rooms all the way. And as I said, 9 times out of 10, the RNG will have you to the Nemesis after loop 4, which is perfect. When you get here, you always want to do the same thing. Try and make sure as you're going through that you unlock all your armor kits. So you got 4 armor kits. You can then refill armor kits when you get here, and make sure you put special ammo on your 2 weapons. For this strategy, I haven't really discussed weapons so far because you can go with any weapon that you're comfortable with. But for this strategy, an LMG would work great. So maybe get an LMG. And if ever Bullet Hell is available as the exotic talent, that's going to work very good as well. Bullet Hell and an LMG is going to make this method very, very easy. Especially then if you can mix that with Trauma and Eyeless as well. Which we had none of this, so we had to do it with what we had. I will show you the builds, as I've already mentioned at the end of this. But get yourself prepped as you would. Make sure you got all your special ammo, you refilled and everything. You got all your armor kits, grenades even. And once you're all ready, you want to go and hit the button. As soon as you hit the button, you are going to get a cutscene, and what your whole squad should do is skip the cutscene. You'll come out of the cutscene, and then you just want to run straight ahead. So follow my route here. You'll see this corner, and all 4 of you want to be up here. This is going to be your safety zone, and it's going to keep you safe from any of those stickies that I was on about. Also the grenades with a bit of luck. And you want 2 people on this cover where I am going now. You'll want 2 here and then 2 behind. You'll see where Agent Matt is behind that generator, and there's also another cover behind me. So 2 at the front and 2 behind. And what this positioning does is it just makes sure that the Nemesis don't rush you. We've currently got 4 of them, and the last thing we want is like 2, 3 or 4 of them to rush. You'll just see I got hit by the Riot Foam there. There's the risk with having a Riot Foam. They can use it on you. But anyway, if you do get hit by it, just get out of it. And you're waiting for one to push. One's just pushed here. And now what we're doing is the person that's doing the crowd control with the foam, they're going to stick them and make sure that they can't attack you. They're just going to keep on crowd controlling them so you can try and kill them. When they go up to the right side like that, it can be a little tricky. They might back up like he just has. That's fine. You're doing damage, and then you just do exactly the same again. Keep 2 people at the front cover, 2 at the back, and you want to remain patient. Don't even shoot at them. Eventually, they'll go on to like patrol mode, and they will try and come and seek you out, and you'll get 1 push in at a time. Sometimes they will just all stop altogether, and none of them will be moving. If that happens, you will need to fire a shot just to get them moving again. But in general, you are going to get 1 to push every couple of minutes. Now, I do just want to show you what happens with the stickies when they do it. Here they are now, by the way, on patrol mode. You see the patrolling for us. But if they fire any stickies at us, when we're in this position, what it does is the sticky's just going to hit the wall in front, and you will get like the red radius on it, but it isn't going to do any harm to you. And with the fireflies, they tend to always have blinder fireflies, no matter whatever Firefly you have, they'll have Blinder. And Blinder doesn't do anything to you. It just makes your screen go black for a bit. Not a problem. Easy to defend against. And this is why you're going for those skills. Stickies won't bother you. Fireflies won't bother you. You might notice in the clip a little bit earlier, the only risk you've really got is grenades. Watch the grenades. For the most part, they won't land on this platform, but sometimes they do. So with a lot of patience, this Nemesis here is finally got to push up and come up through the center. This is the ideal position. And when you have some better talent pools, it's going to be so easy to kill them. Notice now how our crowd controller's foamed him. We've already done some damage and we kill him nice and easily. That's one Nemesis down. And we keep on going with this same strategy. You may have also just noticed an icon in the distance there. He had a restorer hive, which means he's got heals. Another one has a reinforcer chem as well. So this is the problem with picking things like decoys. They will have random skills. That random skill can also be a oxidizer chem, which should be absolutely disastrous. So it's very important you try and work on those skills as you go. And we had 2 decoys here, and the 2 random skills that we got were 2 healing skills, which made this a little bit more difficult because every time we did damage, when they popped up and then they went back, they were getting healed again. But still, with enough patience, they will eventually come up and they'll jump up on the center like this Nemesis is about to do. Same strategy again. This time he has full health and we don't have a lot of DPS and we do need to get caught out here. You've got to time that foam, and if you do have a secondary skill like a blinder, you've got to time that. There is a chance that the foam will wear off and the Nemesis will melee you. Duck got very lucky there. He got hit by the melee. So be very careful about that. If the Nemesis is near you, stop shooting, dodge that melee. It will nearly kill you. You'll be 1 bullet from death. And if you go down to your knees, you got to start again. But right now, we got 2 down and we got 2 to go. After being patient again, finally the 3rd Nemesis came and approached us at the center here. You can see we do the same strategy again. We are foaming him. We're all aiming at his head and we're just crowd controlling him while we do damage. He just got another melee off there and missed, thankfully. And you just saw the chem launcher as well he tried to use to heal himself. But we stopped that from happening. We killed him. And now there's just 1 left. When we got down to 1, he was very annoying. He wouldn't push at all with the positioning that we had. So I am now going to explain to you one thing you can do if you are feeling a little bit more risky and you want them to push harder. More experienced teams will actually do this. And what you want to do is you all want to take cover further back. Rather than have 2 people sat on the front and 2 people sat at the back, have all 4 of you at the back. You got this cover here and you've got behind the server as well. As long as you are all back, the Nemesis is more likely to push at you. The only problem with being this far back when there's like 4 of them out there is that you're likely to get 2 or 3 push at the same time, and that can be disastrous. So you do need a lot of experience to manage this and manage them one at a time if you are doing it from this far back. But when there's just 1 to go and they're not pushing as much as you want them to, this is a good way to get them to push. So you can see he's just pushed down the right side for us there. We're going to try and kill him. And what you can also do, because you know it's the last Nemesis now, just take your time. Make sure you play to the Riot foam. And you can just Riot foam him wherever he is and do damage. So that's what we're going to do now. We're just going to Riot foam him while he's out there. We're going to look for that icon above his head to make sure he can't shoot at us. And we're going to shoot him when that icon's there. We'll blind fire in between. He's just dropped heals. So just watch that. If you do have heals, try and take them out. But nice and easy now. We're just going to finish the 4th Nemesis off. And we're going to get our perfect descent. It's taken a lot of practice for this. As I said at the start of the video, I do think that this is probably the best method for teams that are learning the mode and aren't that experienced or are not that comfortable. I just feel like it's easy just to sit there and be patient and get the skills right. But I hope it's helped. And I want to show you the builds that we had. On screen here is mine. And you can see how weak it is. I had Incessant Chatter. I only had tier 4 Vigilance, 2 Allegro, 1 Companion, 6 Optimized. I had a PP19 and an SVD. The skills I used, I had a secondary Riot Foam and I had a Sticky as well. And as you can see on the rooms cleared there, we cleared 13 easy floors and 3 medium. We never actually chose a hard at all. And I had 40% weapon damage on the build score there, which meant I chose Devastating at the end of every loop. This was Duck's build. He also had a PP by the looks of it and an SVD. He had Liberty of Death, Tier 2 Composure, 2 Allegro, 2 Vigilance, Preservation 2, Adrenaline Rush 1, and Optimized 4, and was running a Decoy and a Firefly. Shrewd Gaming was running a Foul Assault Rifle there, Liberty of Death, Vigilance Tier 4, Allegro 1, Precise 4, Versatile 1, Spark 1, Entrench, Spike, Destructive, and Empowered. And he had a Firefly and a Sticky, which was perfect. And Matt's build looked like this. He had Overwatch Tier 4, which helped immensely. Liberty of Death, Insulated 2, Capacitive 2, Empowered 5 as he was working towards that foam. Surge 1, and he had the Riot Foam and a Decoy for crowd control. Not sure on what the weapons he had there were. And you may have saw that it took us 1 hour, 23 minutes to do this, which is quite a long time, if I'm being honest with you. You can get a Nemesis run done in like 40 minutes easily when you're not taking your time. But we were being very precautious. We kept one person outside the room every single time we went in. Shrewd was that guy, just so we could position ourselves. We could check the doors. We could decide where we were going to position. We always had 2 of us on one door, 2 of us on another door. Tried to cover as many doors as we could for the spawn. And we just took our time, you know. We didn't want to go down. That was the goal. Your goal was not to go down. And when we got to the Nemesis, that was the strategy we used. And we got it done on the Sloth talent pool. I hope this video has been helpful in some way. We've only done it once. We're going to keep on doing this. I am looking at helping people do this as well. And as my strategies improve, we may also have a look at all the different talent pools and give you some better builds to aim for and things like that. I will release more videos. But again, thank you for watching. If it has been helpful at all, please do hit like. Subscribe for more content from myself. And until next time, thanks for watching this video. Take care and peace out.